다큐 아니에요 이거?
Why, yes it is, Seoyeon. A documentary because you are special. You are the reason this exists, the only way this could exist, and exist so well. You'll understand exactly what I mean after we take a look at the first era of tripleS, K-pop's biggest girl group, the time when it was K-pop's smallest girl group, one very normal girl in the most abnormal of situations. Hey everyone, it's thebenatmos, and welcome to tripleS Eras, a new series where I give a retrospective on the past of tripleS, K-pop's most unusual girl group and known science project of crazed idol architect Jaden Jung. Now, I always like saying this. It's time to go back to the very beginning. The start of the tripleS Cosmos YouTube channel was a tad cryptic. From April 4th to May 4th, we got 5 teasers. The first, Thesis, described the concept of the group, albeit in the same language as a Pokemon villain. We are one and also 24. When we are one, we become the dimension. And we believe we can create a new world. So we're about to open this door right now. Whoa, don't open the door, don't! But through the next couple teasers, it was made more clear. 24 girls would be revealed one by one and live in these houses together, like a reality show. Oh, that's neat. Maybe it's not so intimidating after all. Wait, 24 girls?
24명 너무 많지 않아요?
See, even this random girl agrees that it's just too much. Oh, she's the first member. So Yoon Seoyeon is this girl from Daejeon who was cast out of the blue while studying for her college entrance exams. And apparently she has no idol experience. That's unusual to say the least. Normally when you're trying to sell people on a group, you want to show them their skill, their star quality. Heck, Jaden did that himself with Luna's Heejin, and like he was right. God, I love Heejin. So you can imagine, it's a bit risky to choose a girl with zero experience to kickstart such a big project. Not to mention the tech investors they had and... Okay, we need to address this now. tripleS has this NFT trading card aspect, and if that makes you uncomfortable, don't worry, been there, felt that. But it's a bit complicated, and in terms of environmental impact, probably not as bad as you're thinking. I'll be talking about that when it really becomes relevant in the timeline, but just know it isn't a deal breaker for me. So yeah, what was Jaden thinking with this girl? Even she doubts the concept. Nothing says invest in my project less than the main person in it doubting it. That aside for now, normal, albeit remarkably pretty girl chosen to move in. Sure. There's one last teaser called Dijkstra, hold on, let me look this up. Dijkstra, which clarified one essential part of the member reveal process, that trainees were training alone and didn't even know each other. Well, sort of. Point is, even Seoyeon had no clue who was going to join her group. She was along for the roller coaster ride, and us viewers were too. Nowhere was that showcased more than the first signal.
윤서연님, 트리플S로서 한 발을 내디딜 준비가 되셨나요?
네.
Seoyeon's vibe in the first signal was one part confusion, one part nerves, and one part excitement. And here's where I think her first strength lies. Seoyeon's emotions are basically the same as the viewers, but amplified. She isn't so much a presenter or performer, but a protagonist. Mystery, anticipation, and even nervousness and doubt, that was part of the tripleS experience at this point. We were in the uncharted Wild West. Seoyeon was a pure-hearted trailblazer, and you were right alongside her. Thus, Seoyeon's appeal departed from the normal K-pop format of perfection. Similar to J-pop, the charm of standing this idol was watching them be human and grow, to support them, not to be mesmerized by their sicko dance moves. At least, for now. This style of idolhood aligned in many ways with Jaden's vision for Modhaus, a company that instead of presenting a pre-existing perfect packaged group, instead asks the fans to participate and help build the group together. But of course, we haven't quite gotten there yet. Oh yeah, if you want more videos covering the tripleS timeline, remember to like and subscribe to let me know that the interest is there. After learning the layout of the place, Seoyeon met Suwa, the disembodied voice assistant. Well, really more so an announcer. She's urged to choose a room, and let's just say it wasn't easy for her.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're...
왜 이거 번복 못해요? 차라리 2개 다 찍으면 안 돼요? 여기 선택했을 때랑 저기 선택했을 때. 보라색.
And that's where the first signal ends. But we do know more about this day than the camera showed us. In the first signal with the complete tripleS, Seoyeon revealed that being alone in the house, she understandably had trouble falling asleep. So she asked people from the contents team to sleep in the house with her during her time there. I would say that's endearing, but like, what normal teenage girl would want to sleep by themselves in a house filled with cameras and a mysterious disembodied voice? But I guess the staff knew how to evacuate before the camera started rolling, because we see Seoyeon wake up by herself the next day. And today's the day where Seoyeon learns how to eat.
와, 아무것도 없어요.
But not yet, they haven't told her yet. On the table is her very own tripleS MasterCard. Think of these like the tripleS ID. They use it to get into the house and make purchases.
모든 거?
Everything.
집도 살 수 있나요? 아니, 모든 게.
Maybe not a house, but I guess you can get food at the kitchen, the nearby cafeteria-style restaurant. God, this place really is shaping up to be a sorority, huh? This just in. A very confused girl is eating by herself in front of a camera and is awkwardly offering food to staff members. And I do mean this just in, as it's a good time to remind you each signal was posted day of recording. If you were following Seoyeon at this point, you were quite literally plugged into her journey live. It's always been impressive how the contents team was able to do this, with English translations no less. But it shows how well planned this whole thing was.
뭐를 하죠? 뭐를 하죠?
I'll show you exactly what you do, or should I say did, next, Seoyeon.
너무 부끄러워.
And as embarrassed as she was, she still did it. To think that was her first time dancing in front of an online audience ever. I'm sure that took some courage. The next day she made a to-do list, and the day after took some vocal lessons. This next song she was assigned to cover, so keep it in mind. It's important for later. When I think idols who have worked from the bottom up, my mind jumps to Sakura from LE SSERAFIM. But unlike Sakura, Seoyeon was plunged into a bizarre, isolating scenario for a month of her life at least. Knowing these were her weak spots, and that what she performed would be watched by strangers the very same day, I can't imagine the pressure. Yet her trainers and newly formed fanbase kept encouraging her, and with the promise of a Jade and Jung designed group and 23 other member reveals, Seoyeon had a lot to look forward to. It was then both heart-fluttering excitement and courage that pushed her through. But that excitement was contagious. She was someone who was fun to be invested in. Seoyeon embodied reason in the face of the unreasonable, and relatability in an industry full of untouchable stars. And while perhaps she made some mistakes, thanks to Signal Weekly, a reoccurring series on weekends where the members would take a brief look back on their past week, we see no one cringed harder watching her dance than herself. But this only inspired her more.
정말 그때 정말 실감했어요. 진짜 내가 앞으로 책임져야 될 것이 너무 많고 해야 할 것도 많고 앞으로 이겨내야죠. 열심히 해서 다음번에 더 좋은 모습 보여드릴게요.
Still, this meant almost nothing if she didn't have any teammates to fight for. The thought of the next member, her first friend in tripleS, weighed more and more heavily on her mind. The comments were stacked with anticipation as well. tripleS couldn't just stay a monologue forever, so it makes sense that what followed the next day was...
제가 아이돌을 하고 싶다라고 생각했을 때는 초등학교 5학년 때쯤 될 준비가 다 저의 전부를 지금 쏟고 있습니다.
How's that for contrast? Unlike Seoyeon, Haerin was a longtime idol hopeful, XP Nation trainee, and a dancing fiend. What's more, the song in the teaser was confirmed to be a demo of a future tripleS song. Of course, Seoyeon was totally fine watching it, and then subsequently totally fine live streaming by herself. Then an English lesson, which she was totally fine with.
Shall we begin? I'm expecting more for the next class. No.
Knowing Haerin danced at that level made Seoyeon want to grind her dancing skills as much as she could.
좀 되게 일상적인 모습을 저는 많이 보여드린 것 같은데 혜린님의 영상은 준비된 모습이잖아요. 제가 앞으로 많이 배우겠죠? 서로 배울 수 있으면 너무 좋은데 저한테 뭘...
Now, here's a great thing about this reality show format. It's a rare opportunity to see the very first moment members of a music group meet each other. Normally you'll hear things like, "This was my first experience with blank idol," but can only ever imagine it. With tripleS, we've seen every member's first encounter with at least part of the group. This lets us see how the girls' relationships evolved over time. Fans really get the full picture. Now, cue the roommate preparation montage. The era of the normal girl who lived by herself and could only dream of what the future held won't last much longer.
Every little thing that I want. Guess I got up in my Frankenstein. Draw the picture color, all the lies. When it's right, I take a test drive. Every little thing that I want.
그래서 듣기 힘들다. 제 목소리 같아요?
Now, despite how embarrassed she was, it was clear how much she enjoyed the cover. Heck, even looking back now, I think this cover is fantastic. Her vocal coach really nailed the song choice, and her voice just works here. I think this cover proved to the viewer that Seoyeon did have what it takes to become an idol, and I think even more so, it proved it to Seoyeon too. The fact she's so delighted tells me this was the moment she gained some real faith in her abilities.
너무 귀여워.
Next up was a Signal Weekly, just reviewing everything, so I'll skip it, but she did wish for this.
다음 멤버들이랑 놀이공원 진짜 가고 싶어요. 진짜 놀이공원 가고 싶어요.
Maybe it'll come true, who knows, who knows? I don't know, there's no way I could know, being almost 3 years in the future. And the Selfie Sunday, which is just extra vlogs taken throughout the week, was the same thing. But as the video came to a close, we got a cameo that showed her thoughtfulness had paid off.
그 새로운 영상 봤거든요. 그 서연님께서 그거 필요한 용품 막 사러 이렇게 간 거 영상 봤는데 이제 저를 위해서 되게 신경을 써주시더라고요. 이제 제 얘기가 되게 많이 나와가지고 다음 주에 뵙게 됐는데 저희 만나면 친하게 지내고 밥도 같이 먹고 춤 연습도 같이 하고 그래요.
Alright, seeing as Haerin moves in next episode, that was the Seoyeon era. An unprecedented experiment with an inexperienced girl who lived by herself for 2 weeks on camera, constantly pushing through embarrassment, both intimidated and empowered by her dreams of the future. Seoyeon was attuned to herself, empathetic to the viewer, and thinking of her members before she even knew them. Despite her skill level, she had all the makings of a true idol. What do you think her experience showed you? Leave a comment, and while you're at it, let me know if you want to see more episodes of this as a series. Oh, and of course, like the video, that too. You can catch an extended commentary of my thoughts on Seoyeon and this era by checking out my growing Patreon community. The videos I post on there give me the room to be as personal as I want, so click on the link in the description if you want to listen to all of my opinions and reflections. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. 안녕!